Hey, what's going on everyone? I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope that all of you are having a great day, and thank you for joining me for your daily dose of Star Wars. We've all been waiting for The Last Jedi home release, those of us who are looking to buy it, and I pre-ordered mine on March 13th just because I cannot wait to see all of these exclusive, deleted scenes, the commentary with Rian Johnson, etc. Entertainment Weekly, as of course always them, has finally revealed some new details about the deleted scenes from The Last Jedi, as Anthony Breznican was able to sit down and take a chat with Rian Johnson and talk about 5 of the deleted scenes that we're going to be getting. Remember, there's going to be 14 deleted scenes, so this is only a handful of them. Anthony made a point to mention that Rian clearly loved this project and that he had a really tough time deciding which deleted scenes didn't make the final cut of the film. He said it was similar to having to say goodbye to some of these scenes like it was his own child. And it seems like all of these deleted scenes aren't just things that were ended up being cut left on the cutting room floor before the editing process was finished. They were all fully edited with visual effects and music, and then they were cut. So Rian Johnson really didn't want to have to cut any of these from the film, and hopefully, at some point Disney and Lucasfilm will give us a full release with the full-length version of this film that Rian had initially made. When talking about which scenes to take out, Rian said this: "I love each one of these scenes individually. I mean, every single one of them was not cut because it didn't work. It was cut because the movie as a whole was better without it." The first deleted scene that they discussed was, "It's kind of weird that you recorded that." My guess of this being another scene with Luke and R2 was wrong, and this is actually with BB-8 and Finn. It seems that R2 wasn't the only droid using images to motivate characters throughout the film, and what BB-8 did was show Finn what Rey said to him before she left for Ahch-To as he was laying there unconscious at the end of The Force Awakens. Rian realized that the scene wasn't needed to help sell the narrative, so he decided to drop it. Although it appears to have a really soft spot for Rian because of John Boyega's performance as Finn in it. He said, "I thought it was a really sweet little scene. I love John Boyega's performance in it. Ultimately, it was meant to explain his motivation for going to find Rey and the Resistance. But we realized that you understood his motivation, because he tells it to Rose. Once we realized we could get away without it, it was something that just naturally fell away. Granted, I think it would have been cool to see this, but I do understand that it wasn't always necessary." The next one that they talked about is the Caretaker Village sequence, which we saw in the initial trailer that we got at Star Wars Celebration with Rey running with her lightsaber on Ahch-To that ended up not making the final cut of the film. And this scene was probably the most talked about deleted scene of the whole movie for that reason. Rey was running along the coast really intensely. We thought she might have been preparing for battle, so flashes of it existed in the promotion way back for March, as we already discussed. This was a scene that led to the idea of the Knights of Ren and Kylo Ren being on Ahch-To to fight with Luke and Rey, which also didn't end up happening. And instead, Rey just happens to bash in on the Caretaker's party. After Rey sees the village, Luke thinks that she takes this opportunity to test her. Knowing well what it was, Luke tells her a little white lie, telling Rey that it was a warrior tribe primed to attack the village. Luke tells her that if she attacks it, they will only come back stronger. And that would never interfere with this if she were a Jedi. Rey, of course, ignores Luke and storms towards the village, only to find that it was just a party. Rian Johnson had the following to say about it. "Originally, it was just a breaking point for her. Okay, he's gone too far. This is the point where she finally says, okay, if you're not going to help me, then I've wasted too much time here." Rian also made the point to say that this wasn't missing the third lesson that we hadn't gotten in the actual film that we saw. It was just more of a test, and Rey had failed it. So Rian initially knew that the third lesson wasn't going to be mentioned, but it was Rey seeing whether she could pass this test or not. Rian felt that keeping this scene would have changed the context of Rey's final Force connection with Kylo Ren, as it would have made Luke less surprised that the film was distancing herself from this place. Instead, Rian says that they had to be positive, coming to him and Kylo touching her hand. He said, "It's much more of a crushing reversal when Luke finds her in the hut, talking to Kylo. You get the sense that she and Luke were actually making progress, as opposed to, oh, things were screwing up." And this is true, as suggested leaks thus far for the novelization of The Last Jedi had it, up until Luke saw that he was supposedly going to go back with Rey for the Resistance and try and help them. While Rian acknowledges that the lesson for the third lesson wasn't actually in the film and that it was supposed to be more of a test, he does say that it's not a problem but possibility. There are no problems, there are only potentials, in relation to JJ being able to talk about that third lesson with Rey for episode 9. The next scene is Luke has a moment. One of these scenes was with Luke and Leia connecting through the Force, grieving together about Han's death. This would have been an excellent scene to see in this deleted scene to help kind of, in a way, unite the big three in the closest way that we could have for this film. After Luke found out about Han's passing early on in the first act, he reconnects with the Force and tries to talk to Leia. Rian had this to say: "It's both of them having the connection, and that also then led you to think that Leia was thinking about Han's death. It was a really lovely moment." Rian knew that this film would carry a lot of weight and really make the dice moment at the end of the film pop that much more, and finally represent the big three in a way we hadn't gotten to see in this trilogy, but unfortunately it wasn't able to make the final cut, with Rian saying, "I was very sorry to lose it. I think it's a beautiful performance from Mark Hamill, but I think that we get a similar beat with him later when he's in the Falcon with R2. I think this is now one of my most anticipated deleted scenes just because this would be the closest way we could reunite the big three for this sequel trilogy. We're obviously not going to get the chance in episode 9, with Han Solo already passed and Carrie Fisher leaving us in real life, and Mark Hamill also apparently not existing in The Last Jedi either. The next scene that we're going to go over is Mega Destroyer Incursion, extended version. In this scene, Finn and Rose are in the elevator after having stolen their First Order office uniforms when Finn is recognized by a former colleague who was supposed to be Tom Hardy, and this is one of the earliest cameos that leaked for The Last Jedi way back in, I believe, last March, is when we heard this, and that he was going to congratulate Finn on getting a promotion, not knowing that he actually had left the First Order. This deleted scene and extended version of this scene that we got in the film was just to show that it wasn't that easy to just walk into the First Order and just take whatever they wanted, and that this was showing that there was actually much more that needed to be done. But unfortunately, this also didn't make the film, which I'm a little less upset about, because it doesn't really involve Luke, Rey, Kylo Ren, or anything like that. Rian Johnson had the following to say about it: "Sneaking through the Mega Destroyer, there's some really fun stuff in there. It just made me laugh every time I saw it. But you can see very obviously when you watch the movie as a whole, there's no way you would want to slow down at that part of the film to play that whole section." The main reason I am looking forward to watching the scene though is just to see Tom Hardy act as Finn's former colleague in the Stormtrooper outfit, and just telling him how great he is that he got this promotion. And Rian had this to say: "After this Stormtrooper ultimately recognizes him, Finn realized that the First Order has covered up his defection and role in helping the Resistance destroy Car-Killer Base. Rather than sound the alarm, the good old boy trooper just had a hearty laugh, and this his old troop mate, FN-2187, was promoted to officer status ahead of him." I am still looking forward to seeing Tom Hardy just in the film because we know his cameo got cut, and we know Prince Harry's cameo also got cut, and Justin Theroux's cameo, I believe, got cut. I didn't see that in there, but let me know if I missed any other ones who got cut or were actually in there. The last one we're going to talk about is Phasma Squealed Like a Whoop Dog. This is where Finn and Phasma's showdown occurs, and Finn's ultimate showdown, as Rian Johnson refers to Phasma as Kenny from South Park's Star Wars, and she keeps coming back. Now, of course, she dies in this film. Phasma's alternate death scene sounded way better than the one we ended up getting for the film. Check it out. Rather than Finn finally gaining the upper hand on Phasma, she has him beaten, and surrounded him by other stormtroopers. That's when they begin talking. Finn unspools the story of her cowardice in The Force Awakens, turning over the shield's codes to Starkiller Base to save her own life. The other stormtroopers shovel uneasily. They're not sure if it's healthy to know any of this. Phasma is showing something through the gash in her half-destroyed mask. Fear. Before the other stormtroopers can react, she does a quick draw on each of them, blowing away her fellow soldiers. Then as she and Finn clash again, she is hit with the blast herself, hurled into the inferno of the crumbling Hangar's Bay. I think I would have liked to see that a lot better than the one we got where, oh no, Finn died, even though we knew he didn't die. Oh, look at this. Boom, Phasma's gone. I really would have liked this alternate version better. Johnson changed the whole thing because it was for the film's pacing. He thought that it would have been too long, even though she would have died either way. But it seems that the lengthier version would have been much more satisfying. Anthony points out that the version doesn't seal Phasma's fate for the final cut, And does this mean that the door is left open? He asks Rian. And now, Rian's response is, now we don't quite know. As Luke tells Leia, no one is ever really gone. And he doesn't know because he doesn't have a hand in 9, and that's JJ's decision. Rian doesn't have anything to do with 9, and as Mark Hamill has said multiple times, it's just a baton handoff and the next runner of the leg is going to run their race. And that just happens to be JJ, and he's going to do whatever he wants, and he's already got that in motion with a finished script and a shooting scheduled to begin in July. But let me know what you guys think about these deleted scenes. Which one are you looking forward to the most? I'm always looking forward to the stuff with more Luke, more Mark Hamill. Give me more Mark Hamill. So I'm really excited to see that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment down below. That wraps things up for me here in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. If you want more Star Wars coffee, you can always follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SWCoffee YouTube. And if you want to become a daily coffee drinker, hit that bell down there to receive a notification on your iOS or Android device the second a new video goes live. Thank you guys for watching. As always, keep loving Star Wars, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.